age of 7 in 1953 in northeastern Arkansas. I had seen lights above the river for 3 nights running.
This alien friend of mine.
Other times.
His head was shaped like a brain.
Other beings.
This is a picture of my extraterrestrial husband.
Welcome to another mind-altering broadcast.
They drilled in my forehead.
With Riley Martin. Call 888-STERN-101 with your questions. The Riley Martin Show.
Hello, good listeners, and welcome to a special edition, prime time on Monday night here, of the Riley Martin Show. We're glad you're here. I hardly know what to say, since I've never been on the air like this for like a umpteenth years on a Monday night, my goodness. So, I am glad to be here, and I'm glad you're here with me tonight. Should be quite interesting, to say the least. Back in the studio tonight, as usual, is the one and only, the great, the man with the plan, the big man with the slow hand, mover and groover, great technician. I speak of none other than the great O Al Aragon. And shout out to the lovely Michelle. That's my baby. And, of course, by his side is the one and only. He can hardly hold the steed, the Arabian white stallion that is pawing, ready and ripping to go. I speak of none other than the great Sir Breton of Her Majesty's Kingdom, Sir Breton. And a shout out to the lovely Sarah. Sarah, she handles the books, and I love her too. And of course, by my side, as usual, is the inimitable, quite brilliant, if I must say, the one and only kick of the side and side of the kick. I speak of none other than the great technician and co-host, the great Eric Eron Macaulay.
We're not alone, Spaceman.
Yes, indeedy. Oh, and shout out to all the lovely people in the Sirius XM family back in the studio tonight. But we are here, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, for the 7 o'clock Riley Martin Show. We're glad that you're here. Talk to me, Ron.
Okay, people, call Riley Martin with questions tonight, 888-STERN-101. You can also email us questions at RileyMartin@SiriusXM.com.
Yeah.
People have sent you emails, so I have a couple of those. We have people lining up to talk to you as usual.
Well, certainly. I know somebody's going to ask me about that, theme-a-bob, on the, what do you call it when people talking like that to each other, them politicians?
The debate.
Yeah, the debate. I know we're going to get to that as well, but I'm not going to bring it up. Y'all have to bring it up and start me off. But anyway, read to me what you got there.
Okay, I'll get to the emails first.
Oh, okay.
Is there anyone you would like to debate here on Earth in any time, any place?
I would like to invite any of them GOP lying, backstabbing, underhanded, mud-sucking the groupies of any sort to debate with me anytime that they so desire, either with knives, guns, in the middle of the streets, with scatter guns at 5 paces. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I thought you was going to say something like Albert Einstein or something like that.
Well, no, I get back to Al, Big Al later on. But these boys, they done broke the mold when it comes to lying and cheating and backstabbing and underhanded, mud-sucking stuff. And it's just, Jesus Christ, I don't want to get in there. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
A report recently surfaced. I don't know if you heard about this or not. This report came out of Los Angeles. Anyway, evidently, several people saw some type of a craft, if you will, emerge from the ocean and go up into the sky. And people are swearing that they saw this. Well, in the aftermath of that, some people put together a documentary that reported on this, and they basically are speculating about a possible extraterrestrial stronghold in that area in the form of a city, an underground city, etc. And I wanted to know, have you heard about this? And what do you make of this?
Well, years ago, I distinctly, on a number of occasions, told people that there is an underwater base out from L.A. going towards Catalina Island. There is a base out there, and also there is what we call a quantum window. There are certain places where it is easier to access other hyperspace zones and things like that. So yes, they are out there. Now they know where they are. They will protect that area, so I would suggest that you leave them alone. Now, they have installations all over the place, up around Mount Shasta, northern Canada, out from Oregon, and various other places, the Pacific Rim, you name it, off Puerto Rico, off Jamaica. There's one northern Canada in the Great Lakes and various other China, various other places in Israel and various other places. They have these installations here on Earth, and they have had them here in our recorded history. No doubt about it. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll let the listeners and the callers follow up on that. But before we get to the callers, I want to run this quick email by you right quick here. All right. This is from X-Ochi. And he says, or she says, X-Ochi says, they have a question for you, Mr. Martin. Please help President Obama. This is a statement more or less, and I guess they want your response. Please help President Obama stop using his drug enforcement powers to raid medical marijuana dispensaries around the U.S. Also, 2012 Libertarian candidate Gary Johnson is the only one supporting ending the failed U.S. drug policy. Can you please comment?
Well, yes, my dear. I suspect that once the president is back in office, ultimately, you understand that we would gain a great deal of revenues out of, for every 100 people who dies on the roads, for one, it is alcohol imbibers and things of this nature. Therefore, alcohol itself is a far, far greater danger to us than medicinal marijuana. Now, my grandkid, can go down on the street and get marijuana a lot quicker than he can actually acquire beer and what have you. It's easier to get. Therefore, we should be taxing this stuff and encapsulating it and fixing it where we know who is getting it and things of that nature. And ultimately, it will take billions, literally billions of dollars out of the hands of the gangsters and put it back in the tax coffers and help us come out of this slump that we are in. And therefore, we are hoping that using the marijuana concessions, we will be able to build up the national treasure quicker than Mitt Romney and his buddy can steal it and plant it in for Switzerland. You see what I mean? But you were right, baby.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for that email. Okay, to the calls then. This will be Tal in Washington, D.C., the great Tal.
The one and only Tal.
Hey, Kwame Salajuwan.
Kwame Salajuwan, Tal. Yes, indeed.
How you guys doing tonight?
Okay.
Good, Tal.
Yeah. Okay, hey, I got a couple questions here, Riley. One is a statement and one is an actual question. The first question is, could you explain to the listeners, especially me, on the shelf life of the hydrogen fusion core that the Great Biavian mothership is using? What's the shelf life on a core like that? And my second statement is, I want to give a shout out to Richard Branson and his SpaceX project. He is putting cargo ships up to the space station at 1/3 of the cost of what space agencies around the world are doing. So that tells you right there that somebody is lining their pockets off of that.
Well, certainly. And there's a very noble thing that the great man, Mr. Branson, is doing. And he's saying it does not take 10,000 technicians months and months in order to ship a package out to the space station and what have you, because once you have overcome the factor of escaping the gravitational pull of this planet, then it's quite easy to go ahead and negotiate the rest of the distance to the space station, and he has been able to do it at a fraction of the cost, and I applaud him. This is what President Obama wants to do. He wants to find alternative methods to save this money than just dumping it here and dumping it there and everything. I am not speaking down on NASA or anything of that nature, but I'm just saying they must evolve to the extent as to where common sense takes over more so than the juice money and things of that nature. You're right about that. Now, what was your second query?
Oh, we lost him.
Oh, what was his second? What did he say?
Oh, wow. We'll come back to him.
Right.
Okay, we'll go to the next call. Call us back, Tal.
Yeah.
Next call, Riley. This is Cody in Georgia.
Cody.
Hey, Riley. Hey, I've been emailing Howard 101 and 100 to try to get you a raise and more hours. I hope it's
beautiful. Yes, indeed. This is the first time I've gotten a primetime show in umpteenth months or years. You know what I mean?
You got to get better hours than midnight. You need during the day.
Yeah. Okay. Well, they could do that if they wish to do it. You know what I mean? I wish they would. Mm-hmm.
I wish they would, too. Now, I want to ask you, to be honest, do they travel through wormholes or through a speed of light? I was wondering about the travel methods. I've ordered your book, but I haven't read it yet. I got to be honest.
Right, great. They have overcome the speed of light, and they do use, we call them quantum windows. You may call them wormholes. Now, there are applicable procedures, like Einstein said, matter cannot move faster than light. However, now we know that there are particles, subatomic particles, that do move faster than light. As you are approaching LNS, a light natural speed, you can vibrate up and jump that light factor to ion. That's the second level, then to tachyon, then to muon, then to quark, then to top quark. And on that seventh level, you will uplink and do a plasmic osmosis interface with what we call dark matter. You have now accessed the string and thus jump to about 100 times the speed of light using a subatomic particle level of dispersal. Then so your feet are on Earth and your head is on the moon, though it don't seem like that to you. But yes, they've already overcome that, good man. Yes, they have, and there are even greater technologies out there. Yes, indeed. Yeah, beautiful. But those are your steps.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's why I was hoping to learn that. Thank you, Riley.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, thank you for calling, Cody.
All right, thanks, Cody. Mm-hmm. All right, Tal in Washington, D.C. was asking you about the shelf life of the hydrogen
the shelf life
core
of the hydrogen fusion core.
Yes.
It takes about one of your lifetimes, about 80 to 90 years, before it has to go in for refitting. Now, it can be utilized longer if necessary. However, they will put in at one of the undersea bases, or one of the bases on one of the outer planets, the moon near the mothership, what have you, and to refit those cores. You got to gear it down. And you have to keep it in a vacuum and cut all existential power to it and take it out of there and then drain it off to the extent as to where you can handle it and not dismantle it and put it back together with a fresh, new inner core supply. And they can do this, they can accomplish this in about 7 days, wherever they are. But yes, let's say 80 years, 100 if you have to, before you have to mess with it. Mm-hmm. Good question, Tal.
That was Tal in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, it's a great Tal.
All right, next call, Riley.
And Lisa Marie, I love her, too.
Yes, This is Leroy in Arizona.
Hello, Leroy in Arizona.
Hey, Riley, this is Leroy Jenkins. I got two questions for you.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
You please answer it honestly for me?
Okay.
Do you like Barack Obama for his political views, or do you like him just because he's black?
Well, I like him.
Both?
Yeah, for both reasons. Nonetheless, I know what Mitt and those boys are planning for your ass. Now, he was telling you during the debate that he loves everybody 3 or 4 days before then, he was telling his rich cohort that half of you are nothing but shiftless, low-down, money-grubbing freebies and things of this nature.
Yeah.
He neglected to say that he and his buddies came into town, closed down your factory, shipped it over to the sweatshops in the Middle East, then filed bankruptcy so you could not get the special perks that you have been working all your life for. Then after you got thrown into the streets, he said you were just sponges and all this. All 47% of you sponges and all that. But all of a sudden, he's telling you, oh no, I love you all and things of this nature, when we already know what he's going to do to our ass if he gets a hand on these people. I am talking about the Environmental Protection Agency, the women's pay scales, family planning, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, child lunches, the grants for kids, firing, the firing of teachers, first care responders, police officers, mailmen, and everything else. And he's already said what he's going to do. And then 3 days later, he figured you're so stupid as to you forgot what he's been saying for the last year and a few hours ago and all of this. This is why Obama didn't tackle him, because he's saying the people cannot be so stupid as to not know the lies, the unmitigated, slobbering, monstrous lies that this dude is telling through his teeth all the way through this thing here and all this. So if we are stupid enough, like he thinks we are, to fall for that malarkey that he's trying to foist off on us while winking his eyes at his rich buddies who he told that he did not care about you. Just stay out of his face, just try to rig the vote, and then he's going to take it all and let him die and things of his nature. And so if we don't know any better than that, then we deserve what we get. But yes, I like Obama because he's the most practical one. He has accomplished many, many things that they never did accomplish, and things of this nature, and will accomplish more if we stick with him and give him a chance. And I don't have to worry about my mama starving to death and not being able to get no pills, and women who can't be raped no more and things of that nature, for these bastards and the way that they think and all of this. So, yeah, I like Obama for both reasons.
All right. Thanks for that call, Leroy.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Call us back. Okay, here's Steve in Houston, Riley.
Hello, Steve in Houston.
Hey, Riley, how's it going, man? I'm a big fan, big fan.
Thanks, Steve.
I had a question about your symbols, Ry. If I had some of your symbols and I were to pass away, exactly how would that be handled? Now, before you answer that, I want to let you know that Scott Farrell is leaving the Sirius satellite network for another station, leaving a big old gap for some room for your show. Now, I catch you anytime I can, but it'd be a lot easier if I could hear you at a regular time. 5 nights a week would be awesome.
Right. Well,
when Howard Stern going to release Tim Sabian to free up some of that money to pay you what you're worth, Riley?
Jesus, a good man, I don't think they're ever going to pay me what I'm actually worth, but I would settle for a couple of extra shows a week at a more reasonable hour. That's not hard to do. Maybe they could sneak me in among the guys who are puking and having sex with animals and various other important things like that. Maybe they could sneak me in there. I cannot be any worse than what they got going. But yes, people, email Sirius about that.
We'll get to the second part of his question after the break.
Yeah, right. And then I was talking to a great young man, Raymond Sidowitz, and the lovely Stephanie up in Grand Portage, Minnesota. And there's another one. Yes, you guessed it. Yes, the fable, the legendary Riley Carruthers. Riley, you get it? Riley Carruthers, up in Grand Portage, Minnesota. Let me give a shout out here to Cliff and the lovely Helene Green down in Macon, Georgia. Brother Omika, brothers Black Eagle, and Albert Murray down in Macon, Georgia. Beautiful people. The lovely Lily Heisenbeetle down in Key Largo, Florida. And the great composer, musician, excellent man, the great Mike, and the lovely Diane Boyd, the great composer. Also, the great Jamal and the lovely Luda Lawson, along with baby Victoria. Angels do exist, you know, out there in Salt Lake City in Ogden, Utah. The great Mikey Brundick Sr., marvelous man, his son Junior, the lovely Jennifer Babcock, and the lovely little Kendra up in Massachusetts and down in Florida, Cindy and Brian, and the lovely Christine Zarsky, and the great Dan Givers and his family out in Yorba, California. Love you, baby. Princess Lee in Navarre, Florida. Cabrina Mata Cooks. She made a cake for me, and I'm supporting it. Yes. And her daughters, Tashika Garrison and Lenora Hudson out in Torona, California. The great Rob Weldon Jr. and his lovely mom, Joy, in Griffith, Indiana. The lovely Margaret Woodward out in Ramona, California. Love you, baby. Get better. Corey Tooman in Coral Springs, Florida. Rich and Karen Horowitz, the great. In Mattawan, New Jersey. Randy and Dina. Markel and the little Nika out in Las Vegas, Nevada. The young soldier, James Bucalier, over in Hawaii. Hang in there, guy, and stay with us now. We shall be back any moment.
From the world above, from the world beyond, The Riley Martin Show. Call 888-STERN-101 with your questions, your experiences, your beliefs, your prophecies. The Riley Martin Show on Howard 101.
People of Earth, attention.
Howard 101. The Riley Martin Show. Call 888-STERN-101 and make contact from the world above, from the world beyond. The Riley Martin Show.
And we are back. Now, before I do my advertising, the young man out of Houston, Texas, was asking, Riley, if I shuffle off the old mortal coil before the airlift and I have my symbol, what happens?
Yes.
Well, young man, if the creator of the universe calls you first, then he gets dibs on it. Dibs on you before we do. Nothing we can really do about that. However, for instance, when you get your symbol, it's one of a kind. I want you to take a little swab of cotton swab, and swab the inside of your jaw and get a little saliva on it. Then put it in a little brown paper envelope. Take that envelope and then put it in a little plastic envelope. And you can keep it at room temperature, or you can keep it in the freezer box or something of that nature. Then we will have your DNA. You can be reproduced whole bodily, but not soul. You can be reproduced. I believe that there's a certain elementals in people's genetics that will make them more or less adhere to the same type of personality lines that they had in the first place. Nonetheless, they can reproduce you. They can clone you quite easily again and whatever. And since you have your symbol, they will have you in the neurotonic computers. They may be able to teach you who you are and bring back those dormant memories within you. But if God calls you first, then you're going to a far better place than even I can take you, good man. But I suggest you get your symbol and just follow those simple instructions there. And we'll scoop that up, the little envelope up, and we'll bring you back stronger than ever before. Yes, indeed. And let me advertise here.
Okay.
People, go to www.rileymartin.com and get your books, get your symbols. You can get the Millennium Edition or the original book from there. Also, go to the Cosmic Legend.com, and you can get me in living color on DVD type thingy there. Yes, indeed, about the Atlanta election. Go to Amazon Kindle, and you can get the book at Amazon Kindle a lot cheaper. I don't know, $7, something like that. And if you wish it that way, you can also go to iTunes at Raleigh Martin, and you can get my original album. You have not heard this album, and you're going to love it because we be jamming. Yes, indeed. And go there and get the album. Now you get your symbols and all that, and a litany of other things at RileyMartin.com. We will meet you there. And always leave a number so that I can call you. It won't go any further than me. And what have you if I need to call you. Yes, indeed. You're right.
Okay, before we get back to the calls, I was reading an article here. It was pretty interesting. And in this article, they were actually warning people against allowing someone to have a DNA sample from you if they can have it DNA tested, whether through blood, hair, saliva, etc. And the reason that they were warning against this is because they say that once your DNA is tagged by the government or hospitals, etc., then they can lock you in and they can track you anywhere you go on the earth for the rest of your life. Is that true or not?
Well, to the extent as to where you have got to leave some type of a paper trail and fingerprints. They don't need your DNA for that. Through your cards, your addresses, your jobs, and all of that type of stuff. But as far as DNA is concerned, if they want your DNA, all I got to come in your house and pick up your comb, one of your tennis shoes, anything to get that if they really wanted to get it or something of that nature. So I cannot see where it's detrimental to the extent as to where, my goodness, you've been to the hospital, haven't you?
Yes, but not in a while, but yes.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that at one time in your life, somebody has gotten your DNA or they've gotten a little bit of your blood and what have you. So there are many, many ways of getting your DNA, and there's really no way to prevent that if they want to track you. But I wouldn't think that they would really want to track you unless you come to their dream scope on some type of nefarious activity and all of this. But you can't be a non-person and walk upon the earth with the technology they have today.
Yes, but it is true that they can track you, correct?
They can track you through a paper trail, Iran. You check into a motel. You go into a store. There's cameras in there. You go to a money machine.
They're talking about your precise location based on your genetic makeup.
If you got
from the DNA
if you got a cell phone, I can tell what block you're in up on the earth, period. I mean, there's many ways to keep up with you as far as that goes. Yeah, they don't need your DNA to do that.
All right. Back to the calls then. 888-STERN-101, call Space Cowboy with questions. Go ahead. Patrick in North Carolina, Riley.
North Carolina. Patrick.
Gentlemen, nice to talk to both of you.
Yes, good to talk to you, Patrick.
Thank you.
I have a question here. I'm pretty sure in Western North Carolina a time or two that I realistically believe that I came across something that was unexplained.
Okay.
And I'm wondering, is there a way to be that our friends in the sky would understand that you're receptive to meeting them or receptive to being taken aboard to talk, to learn, from each other?
Right. The number of people upon the earth is legion that would love to talk to them. The only way I know that will get you closer is to get your symbol, good man. Then when you get your symbol, the moment you touch it, it's one of a kind. You are encoded in the neurotronic computers in the sky. Then perhaps they would focus in upon your request and things of that nature. Well, that's the only way I personally know how a person can gain some access to the aliens that I know. But surely there are tens of millions who would like to meet them and what have you. But on this case, my job is to get the symbol to you. Once you get the symbol, you are automatically encoded. And I believe, as many have attested to the fact, that they have become more aware of, say, being scanned or being more amenable to seeing things and things of this nature. But that's the closest way I can tell you, good man, in order to gain access to their notice. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm.
All right, thanks for that call.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yes, call us back. Next call, this is DeMarcus in New Jersey.
Hello, DeMarcus.
Hello, gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be on.
Yeah.
I actually have two quick questions. One, first, do you think 9/11 will ever be declassified, like Operation Northwoods?
9/11? Well, all things will never be known by the common citizen. All things and things of this nature. I refuse to believe that such a momentous operation could have been carried out in secrecy, so grievously so, until nobody knew nothing about it beforehand. Nonetheless, I do not believe that they anticipated the entire buildings coming down and things of that nature. But chances are they had inklings of this and were more or less trying to follow the progress of these people to see what they were up to. Then it became too late once they were in the sky on the last rung of the thingamabob. But yes, there will always be things that we know nothing of, good man, and they will not tell us in their lifetimes. But there will come a day when it will be known. Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right, call us back, DeMarcus.
Yeah, DeMarcus.
Next call, Riley. This is Eric in New Jersey.
Hello, Eric in New Jersey.
Riley, what's up, my brothers? How you doing?
Hey, how you doing, Eric?
Hanging in there, my friend. What's going on?
Oh, nothing, man.
Listen, now, I know I love you, Riley, or whatever.
Sure, I love you too, man.
I know, but I got one question about the debate and the Obama thing, but I want to get to that later. But the one question I do have, you know how you said that there's alien colonies, or that they saw them off the coast or whatever in California.
Right.
That if they were approached, so what basically would happen if people did approach where they were? I mean, what would they come into deadly force with them, or?
Well, no, I don't think that they would use deadly force. That is, unless you shot a missile with a nuclear warhead on it or something of that nature. They would nullify that, but they are not ready to institute an all-out war with mankind and all of this. But we are getting better in detecting where they are and all of this. In fact, NASA and the government have known for a long time where a number of them are, but they have learned not to approach too closely with detrimental things and what have you. But no, they are not planning on doing a war with us. I suspect that they would move the entire installation before they would resort to, say, sinking L.A. into the ocean. You see what I mean?
Just have violent force, or abduct somebody or do anything like that. If they came closer, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, they would. I mean, if it's a missile, they will nullify it. If it's a plane that shoots, a missile at them or something of that nature, they'd shut down the power and all of this, just to let you know, let them alone and don't be messing with them. But no, I don't think they have any war plans. Or if they wanted to take us out, they could have did it when we were still in caves. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Now, about the debate. I voted for Obama the first time. Now I'm a little undecided. But the one thing that I know we all talk about is the, hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
You there, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, about, Obama said, basically he was for, the marijuana thing or whatever. But do you know that under him, that a lot of the legal marijuana dispensaries have been raided and things of that nature?
Yeah, well, certainly it has. But not so grievously so as to where they have nullified all practices of these things. But I suspect it'll get better during his second tenure because he has really not a lot to fear. And it's up to you citizens to try and get some of these mealy-mouthed, lying, thieving GOPs out of office from all levels. That is from the city, governmental, and everything else level, so that this man would have some power in the Senate and the House, numerical-wise, in order to institute more rational thinking upon the earth. Right now, more or less, his hands are tied in all of this, and they are quickly figuring out a way to ultimately buy this entire democracy. You know, the thing that scares me the most about it all is the atmospheric thingamabobs that they got over there to keep an eye upon the poisoning of the earth. They're going to wipe that out. And all of this, that scares me more than the marijuana thing. Then the Koch brothers, not only can they go ahead and turn the rivers into gasoline in various different places like they're doing now, but it will be open season on your butts all over the world, in the country, and all of this. You see, they got fresh water to drink and things like this. But the marijuana thing, I suspect it will be more compromising under Obama in the second go-around. Yeah. Let me give a shout-out here to Jared. My son Jared and his lovely daughter Swan Buckaloo up in Delaware. Mike Belize and Lauren Littleton in Sprague, Connecticut. Jeff and Patty Knudsen out in Reno, Nevada. My ortho doctor, the great doctor, Dr. Robert Friedman. Doctors April Smith, Ann Merkel, Abalone Ansorante. The staff, Joyce, Ann Yarbison, Vicky, Marianne, Ellie, the lovely Amy, Jenna, and Miss Baldish down in Phillipsburg, New Jersey. Renee Farr and her lovely daughters, and Jack Pierce. She makes Renee's raw chocolate. Wonderful stuff. Stephen Parks and Anu, the lovely Anu in Redondo Beach, California. Al Murray in West Hampton, New Jersey. Nicole Klepper and Aaron Wise, Studio City, California. Ben and Harriet Segrest out in Studio City, California. Matt, Mr. Ben and Miss Sheila Panther down in Stone Mountain, Georgia. Wishing you well, people. We love you. Eva, the lovely Eva Wallentek out in Las Vegas, Nevada. And the great Chris Polini and the lovely Nikia, Michael and Pam Racky, Stuart and Roseanne Fallon, and the boys, Angelo and Xavier, out in Hillsburg, California. Gary the Avatar and Lisa Plosiak in Des Plaines, Illinois. Kyle and Meredith, little Sophie McDonald over in Freeburg, Illinois. Austin D. Rasmussen and his dad, Daniel, in Florence, Montana. Sasha Elizabeth Alice Cron in Eureka, Montana. She's a film producer, a beautiful girl. The great Jim Borit, the great, in North Wales, Pennsylvania. Stay with us now, people. We shall retire.
November 1953. An abduction. A little boy. An incredible universe. Call 888-STERN-101 with your questions, your experiences, your beliefs, your prophecies. Riley Martin. The Riley Martin Show on Howard 101.
You are on the verge of destroying the entire universe.
Call 888-STERN-101 and make contact. The Riley Martin Show. Howard 101.
And we are back, people. Thank you for staying with us here. Now, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go to Riley, R-I-L-E-Y, Martin, M-A-R-T like Thomas I-N, RileyMartin.com, and get the Millennium book, the original book, and a number of other things as well. And make sure to do this. Get your great symbolic configuration, because you need that to travel. Get that, go there and get it. Also, you may go to thecosmiclegend.com and get me in living color at my Atlanta lecture. Also, you can get the book at Amazon Kindle. You can get the book there, and it's cheaper. And also, you can go to iTunes and get my original album. Go there and sample it, you know. Go there at iTunes at Riley Martin and check out my music and all that. Also, email. Hey, what do they email at Sirius if they want to get me on the? Go to the Sirius, email them there, and say, attention, Jim McClure, the great Jim McClure, and attention, Tim Sabian, and request that you get Riley on a little more during the week and at reasonable hours and things like that, people. Indian data, maybe they'll get the message, though they know to do that in the first place. They just haven't done it yet. I really appreciate that. So welcome back to the Riley Martin Show, RileyMartin.com. Yes, indeed.
Also, people, you can listen anytime online. Just go to SiriusXM.com and click on the Listen Online tab. Okay. Yeah. All right. We're winding this down here, but I have a quick email here, and then we'll try to squeeze a few calls in here. This is from Pascal Stropiard.
Pascal?
Yeah.
Yeah, the great Pascal.
Longtime fan. Yeah. He says he's got a two-part question. I'm going to give you the first part of it. He says he's asking, could you speak on the newly discovered underground Black Pyramid in Alaska near where Nikola Tesla worked?
Yeah, well, actually, the place in which you are referring to, some thousands, or perhaps about 10,000 years back, that was above sea level. And all of that, and this is there was a land bridge across into the Russias, into the northern Russias and things like that. And at the time, they would have put a pyramid at near the poles of this planet, and it would have been an installation. Probably it's now defunct. But yes, they are there, and there are a number of other locations upon the earth that are now beneath the oceans and things of this nature. But, you know, the big wheel keeps turning, and the continental drift keeps moving and all that. But, yes, it is there. And you can pick up on the vibration of the pyramids in the Valley of Giza and various other places, Angkor Wat, Tiwanaku, and various other places from light years out in space. And it is like a benign battery that's beaming out of the top. And it will give you the coordinates of where this planet is, as well as many of the life forms and the atmosphere and things of that nature from way out there, so you can tune in on those coordinates, and it'll bring you back here. You know, and let me give a shout out to my lovely Leah Coyne. I think she's tuning in now. Leah Coyne, I love you, baby, out in L.A., California.
All right, that was Pascal Stropiard with the email.
Yeah, Pascal.
Thanks, Pascal.
Long time.
Yeah, I'll get to the second part of his question at a later time.
Okay.
All right, but back to the calls then, though. This will be Heron in Mississippi.
Hello, Heron in Mississippi.
Hey, Mr. Riley, it's so nice to hear your voice again, man, and y'all are on a decent hour for a change. Hopefully, Howard is a genius. Hopefully he's wise enough to see that how entertaining your show is, and it's a monetary value he's getting, and he'll add y'all on continuously like this.
Yeah, great. I hope he does.
I bought what you would call the trifecta from you about 3 years ago, the T-shirt, a book, the symbol, and I can assure anyone it's not a waste of money just for sheer aesthetic as well as entertaining value. And I visited that book numerous times.
Great.
But it was so nice. You called me, man, not shortly after that, with a wake-up call one morning, and it was so refreshing and nothing like Hollywood at all, man. And I just wish you guys continued success. And please do not leave me when this shit hits the fan.
No, good man. I will not leave you, good man. I really will not. I got to have you there. Me and you, coming down the causeway and all that. Looking at the girl, winking our eyes and shit, man, and all that. And I know you would enjoy it, good man. And thank you. I call this book the never-ending book, because if you open it up at any page, you're going to learn something, and you'll go and find something you didn't see in the first place. And all this, it evolves with time, such as other great ancient books and things like that. But thanks, good man, for calling me and giving me that boost, because you're right. They should give me more time on the air at a more reasonable hour. See what I mean? Thank you, sir. Bless you, and give my love to the family.
All right, next call. This is Raphael in California.
Hello, Raphael.
Yeah, hey, Riley. Hey, now that you just touched out about the scheduling, now that Pharrell is, leaving the show, he's going to leave a big gap and lots of hours to fill. So have you talked to Team Sabian yet about filling, those hours?
Well, they are well aware of the fact, and have been for years, that I would love to have more time on the air, good man. But I want the listeners themselves to email SiriusXM, attention, Tim Sabian, and attention, Jim McClure, a good man, and see if they will phase me in at a more reasonable time with more hours and things like that. That would be great. It would be to their advantage. Mm-hmm. Whoa.
Thanks, Raphael. Call us back.
Thanks, Raphael. Man, I'm sorry. I wish I could have talked longer with you, Raphael. Let me give a shout-out here to Jacqueline McLaren up in Ontario, Canada, Ryan Walter Butler and Adam Sinter out in Chandler, Arizona, Hunan Ra the Great in Honolulu, Hawaii, Mark Knight and his brother Jonathan in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, Henry Saito and his lovely mom Mary out in Sun Valley, California, Joseph Spasicello, Pocono Joe, my neighbor.
Pocono Joe.
And also Big Al Trabuco, my neighbors and great men and protectors here in New Jersey. Dr. Amy McNamee and Sarah and Stephen Kozik's family in Lansdale, Pennsylvania. Carolyn Sultan in Newport Beach, California. John Morgan McMaster and Michael Christopher Kane, North Wales, Pennsylvania. Chris Walker and his lovely mom, and Carly and Helen in Cincinnati, Ohio. Cody Vernon Smithson and the great Lynn Franklin Smithson, as well as Timothy and Brandy Rundle, city manager out in Midwest City, Oklahoma. Alfonso Mendoza Jr. and El Sparto, happy birthday, man. And also my buddy Riley Carruthers and Raymond Sidowitson and the lovely Stephanie in Grand Portage, Minnesota, and the lovely Leah Coyne. Yeah, go to RileyMartin.com and get my Millennium book. Get your symbols, people. Go to the Amazon Kindle and get the book also. TheCosmicLegend.com and get me in living color. Go to iTunes at Riley Martin and get my album. We love you. Saying good night. Blessings to all of you. The Big Al Ragon, Sir Britton, Jim McClure, the great Tim Sabian, all of y'all, and the lovely Sarah. We're out of here.
From the world above, from the world beyond, Riley Martin, The Riley Martin Show on